Media International, PMI. This is Political Arena. My name is Joe Ehizode. And I have in the studio tonight my usual guests, Osaku Okporofe, who works for the government of Canada. Osaku, welcome to the program.
Thank you for
And on
having
my
me.
right, I have Ebenzo Badewa, who is a financial analyst based here in Vancouver. Welcome to the program.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, viewers, we are going to talk about something that is of very interest to immigrants in Canada. We have a new government led by Justin Trudeau of Liberal Party. And before then, we had Stephen Harper of the Conservatives. One of the focal point of campaign of Justin Trudeau is on immigration. And that's totally different from Stephen Harper. Osako, given your knowledge of Canadian government, what do we have hope about Justin Trudeau on immigration?
I think so. Being here for quite a while now,
Okay.
I've seen the position of the Liberal government, and also because I've gone through two Liberal governments in this country now, and I also see the position of both the Progressive Conservative and the Conservative government.
Yes.
So the Liberals are always pro-immigrants.
Okay.
Most of their policies benefit immigrants compared to what the Conservatives have presented that I've seen. Because being a bureaucrat, working for the government, I see some of the things that are pro-immigrants in terms of what the Liberals present compared to what the Conservatives present. We look at the broad aspect of it, not just us that are here, but those that are coming.
Okay.
Is it also beneficial to them? Those that want to come to Canada, are there many hurdles for them to jump through? Those are the questions we should ask ourselves concerning this new government.
Okay. I was an immigrant myself, and I knew the hurdles I went through before I became a permanent resident. In the previous government before Trudeau, they introduced a policy where you have to go through some tough hurdles before you can become a Canadian. As a matter of fact, one of the sub points of the Conservatives is that's part of immigration, where they said if you are a terrorist, you are confirmed a terrorist or whatever, you will be sent back to your original country, despite the fact that we are already a Canadian. And that was part of the political issues that were raised during the election.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Badewa, now if a person who has become a Canadian, full Canadian, I don't know what you mean by full Canadian anyway, Canadian, and there's an offense or there's a breach of the law which he has committed and is now branded a crime, or he has done a crime, all right? Is it the right thing for them to send the person back to his original country? Is that the right thing to do?
Thank you very much. I think the idea from the previous government to introduce that kind of clause in the right of being a citizen, I think it's erroneous, in the sense that there are so many immigrants in this country today who doesn't relinquish their nationality. They didn't even take the Canadian citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
It is when people voluntarily wish to take the citizenship, and once they took the citizenship, they already swore an oath to be a true citizen of this country. So if somebody has taken an oath to be a citizen of this country, why are you now referring to where he comes from? That's total discrimination and right here.
Okay. Apart from that, the bureaucracy of even having your parents or having your spouse come to Canada has become so tough these days. I know now the law says that if you want to sponsor your parents, for instance, the conservative may be 5,000 a year. And if you open up the immigration website, 1st of January, 12th noon, that 5,000 have been snapped up. So there are people whose family have been dislocated. But I know that part of the immigration policy of Canada says family should not be dislocated. But that major policy introduced by the conservatives has dislocated family. Do you think under Trudeau that will be adjusted up?
I think so, because this government, as I know them, the Liberal government, they are pro-immigrants. And because of what has happened, they are not just changing and turning to them. They'd be crying over this, even when they were in the opposition. Even when they were the third party in Canada, they were crying over it that it is not fair to the immigrants. You know, a situation where somebody was brought here when he was 5 years old, he has no tie to the country that his parents came from or her parents came from, and he committed a crime. Instead of being punished here, if you want to put him in jail, and that is the crime that he committed, and that is the punishment, do that. But to just say, I'm taking the person back to the country that the person came
Just to let you know,
it's not.
what the conservatives said is that if the person commits a terrorist act, that's when they will send him back to his original country. So in this case, by definition of that, there's a discrimination of citizenship, because somebody is assumed to be a real Canadian and the other is not a real Canadian. So if somebody who does anything that is branded by government as terrorism, they send the person back. They have to trace him back to where he comes from and be sent back. That's a sore point, because it makes people feel as if they are second-class citizens in the country.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that, because it's the government, and we, all of us, we are of the position that will be protected by the government, no matter what you've done. But for this situation of somebody being sent back, there are different ways that somebody can be punished in this country. There are laws, there are rules, and I think those medium should be used.
Now, one thing I want to say, actually, Mr. Bayewa, Canada prides itself as a multicultural country. The citizens of this country come from different parts of the globe. So the stifling of immigration policy that prevents people from having their families here. For instance, if I want to invite my mom down to Canada, and I cannot, for 10 years I don't see my mother, I think that's tough enough.
Yeah, you see, now, like you rightly said earlier, that Libra is very popular pro-immigration. If we go back a little bit, we'll find out that the first Trudeau, the father of our current Prime Minister, was the one that raised the issue of the White Paper report in 1972, when they were reconsidering what kind of image do they want Canada to have. Now, they were saying Canada has to be, it's already bilingual. Now, the people were saying, okay, they want the native, want their culture to be recognized. The Ukrainians, they want their culture to be recognized. The Chinese said, we all build this country together, right?
And
so
be recognized.
They have to be recognized. So now, where do we go? So the White Paper report said Canada was declared as a multicultural nation. They said, come with your culture, right? And obey the law of the land. That was a simple decision on that at the time. So that was what opened the gate of Canada to all immigrants to come in. And it doesn't matter, maybe if once you are here, you are free to invite your parent, because if they ask you to
under the law,
if they ask you to keep your culture, it is your parent that can help you to fine-tune the culture.
Okay, without bias, guys, I want you to make a kind of professional judgment. Is the policy of having immigrants to this country, has it benefited Canada or not?
Absolutely. There is no aspect of this country that immigrants are not making a mark. In terms of productivity, in terms of innovation, in terms of security, anything you can think about, immigrants are making their marks. So it's positive. Absolutely.
How about you, Mr. Badewa?
I mean, the evidence is out there. You look at the current ministers. The Minister for Science and Technology is an immigrant, right? The defense. He has served this country as a police officer, as a military officer. I mean, what do you want to say about being an immigrant who has contributed to the development of Canada?
Well, thank you guys for coming, for giving this incisive report. On behalf of PMI, our position is that immigrants are of benefit to this nation called Canada. And every immigrant who wants to be legal, who wants to operate legally in this country, should be given the opportunity to make their stay in Canada as comfortable as possible, right?
Absolutely.
So PMI, that's our position. I want to thank you guys for coming to this program, and thank you for the incisive report, and I appreciate that, and I guess viewers will also appreciate that. Viewers, we are kicking, and we are giving you all the reports. So if you make up your mind and keep watching PMI. My name is Joe Ehizote. I will see you next time. Have a good night.